From the beginning of time, people have been looking for the magic formula of success. And actually, it's really just a question of making the most of what you already have, of your own God-given talent and ability. God did not have time to make a nobody, just a somebody, and you are somebody. And I really believe that you can succeed if you will simply use the 3 important steps toward becoming successful. First, plan. You have to plan. You know, most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So plan. You have to know where you're going or you'll never get to your destination. And then persist. Persistence is so important. Yes, you're going to have little obstacles here and there, but persist no matter what. When you get to the end of your rope, my mama used to say, tie a knot and hang on. And we do get to the end of our ropes every now and then. Remember that successful directors are just ordinary people with extraordinary determination. And then third, of course, is that little 4-letter word, work, W-O-R-K. Remember that God feeds the birds, but he doesn't throw it in the nest. And as a company, we try to give you every single tool you need to achieve success. But nothing works unless you do. We provide every possible help for you to succeed. But you have to take that food for thought and put it into action, remembering that an idea is a pent-up reservoir full of energy, absolutely worthless unless put into action. May this be the happiest and the most prosperous year you have ever known.
Oh, love Mary Kay. Do we not love our Mary Kay? She's amazing. All right, everybody, welcome to our Wednesday event with Just Us. I love Just Us. Okay, hold on. Let me get my notes. So let me do this over here. I know you're all in the chat section. I'm behind by 53 messages. This is not a good thing, all right? I love when it's just us, sort of, kind of. Okay, we do not have Spanish interpretation tonight. Yemi is at seminar. So I do want to say that first off. So Yemi is there. So I'm sorry for those, but you'll have to hear us in English tonight. Secondly, I'd love to know how many of you are patching in from seminar. I saw a bunch of you. Look at your hands all waving. Look at some of you guys. I see hotel rooms. I see beds. I see some of you have who's having a slumber party tonight? Yeah, we're having, some of your directors said, you guys, if we're going, you better be on the event because you got to do this. So I just want to say I am proud of all of you guys for being on tonight. That's for sure. I'm trying to find my notes here. Hang tight. And I'm excited you guys are all at seminar. I think most of you guys left today. Did y'all arrive today? I think some of you just got in today. Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, well, there we go. Okay, I know. It's so cool. We're all over the place tonight. We're going to get to 400. We have some late people, but that's okay. You know, if we did an on-time drawing for $1 million, everybody would have been here 20 minutes ago. So I'm ready just to say Happy New Year to all of you. And we have a treat tonight. My good friend, Jillian Ortega, probably the national, that's the smartest national in all of Mary Kay. I think she's the smartest national of all of Mary Kay. But before I introduce her, I want to say Happy New Year to all of you consultants. At the beginning of January, it is always time to make New Year's resolutions. And this is our January. It's here. We are here tonight. So it's time to make New Year's resolutions and to do things differently. Tonight, we're going to give away 4 Kate Spade items. And I'm going to throw a couple of my books in also. I think most of you know that I wrote a book this year. And it's always fun going through Mary Kay Legal to get it all approved. That takes a hot moment. Jillian knows how that works too. But New Year's resolutions always come. And that's when we do things differently. So it's time to make it your best year ever. How many of you are ready to make it your best year ever? Okay. So I was trying to think of a rhyme with 2025. It was like, you know, you could do something 2026. I'm like, what rhymes with 2026? Pick up sticks in 2026. No, I don't know. If you guys come up with a good one, let me know. With that said, make sure, consultants, you have your name in the chat section because we're going to give away 4 Kate Spade items and 2 of my books tonight too, okay? By the way, the calendar is up for August. I did that just a couple days ago. Your directors have them and all the flyers. Super excited about the 4 nationals we have speaking in August. And also one of our events, well, of course, we're having an event with Amanda and Jackie, and they're going to help you to figure out your eye shape. How many of you know you have either a little space or a lot of space or something happened to your eye space? How many of you know that? Some of you have deep set eyes or hooded eyes or all those different things. So they're going to go through and do that and teach you how to do all your eyeshadows. And that's a huge guest event. And then we're having a holiday one at the end. So all the flyers and everything is ready for you, for your directors. So please make sure, if you're going to participate, directors, have all your people equipped with all the information, of course, ahead of time. Okay. And by the way, consultants, please thank your director, because she's put you in a place of arena of education tonight. So if she did not participate financially in chipping in, all the directors chip in every month. We put this together and they chip in. So last month we gave almost $4,000 away with gifts and prizes and e-stars. It's a lot. And then I want to thank all my beautiful behind the scenes people, Kelly, Melanie, Carla, all the rest of them, who are Alice. There's a lot of them who are behind the scenes, and they're the ones who chase out the fun people that are running through the Zoom. I can say this tonight because it's just us. Have you ever seen our Zoom sometimes? We've had people run through naked. Yeah. Anyway, so we have our behind the scenes people taking them out. So first off, I do want to welcome all of our brand new consultants. So if you're a brand new consultant, you're like, what is this? Would you do me a favor and put your name in that chat section and just put new there? Because we want to welcome all of our brand new consultants who are on here tonight. We're super excited that you are here for the first time. This is a good time for you to start. So there we go. Look at all the newbies. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at all that. So congratulations, all of our newbies on here tonight. And once a month I do training. And it is really great to be able to have Jillian on here tonight. So let's roll it into the new year, and it's time to set New Year's resolutions. As you know, many people join the gym. Do you know that largest enrollment in a fitness center is January 1, and you know they all quit by March 1? That's what happens. Their biggest dropout is in March. Their biggest enrollment is in January. And why is it? Do y'all know? Okay, because we don't want to stay with our goal. Well, this year I want you to have a word in your head. I'm going to give you a word. Are you ready for write your word down? Okay, here is your word. Your word for this year is discipline. Maybe you can come up with an acronym on that. But discipline will take you anywhere. And I say today, I have discipline. I want you to say every day, I have discipline today. I have discipline this week. I have discipline this month. I have discipline to stay off all the social media things and the Facebook groups. I almost said the dumb Facebook groups, and the Facebook groups that are distracting to me. Discipline in this business will take you far, and it will keep you on track. So it's easy to get off track because we all have family and friends and jobs and everything, including dogs and cats and birds and virtual distractions. So before I turn this over to Jillian, I want to give you just 5 quick points of a checkoff list. Are you ready for 5? And then I'm going to give it to my good friend. So discipline is your word, okay? And anytime that you're doing things that shouldn't be done, you need to discipline yourself to do other things. Number 1, do you all have samples? I'm teaching a masterclass. Do you all have samples put together with your business card in them and little instructions? You guys, I had my assistant made up 200 of these the other day. See these little things? I got these on Amazon. They're super cute. Okay. Do you have samples with your business cards? Okay. This is the new year. You don't have samples. You need to go do that tonight. Order charcoal mask. Super easy. Okay. Number 1, do you have samples? Are you ready out the door with that? Okay. And by the way, I used to take a bag of samples and I'd switch them from purse to purse to purse. How many of you those people who have like 3 purses going, or 4 because they're different colors? They want to match your outfit. I know, I'm a little crazy about that kind of stuff. Like you cannot wear a purple dress and a black handbag or like this, or something. I have to have different handbags. So I decided to make up Ziploc bags. I know it's my C, which I don't have any C in me, but I have tonight. Ziploc bags with samples and put them in every purse instead of having moving them. Okay. So that's number 1. Okay. Number 2, are you branded? Do you guys have Mary Kay t-shirts, aprons, beauty coats, wherever you go? Let them hang in the back of your car. And then when you get out, you just put it on. Doesn't matter what you're wearing. Well, it kind of does, but are you branded wherever you go? Are you branded? Are you guys branded? Okay. Do you guys have t-shirts, baseball caps? Are you out on the baseball field? Do you have samples with you? Do you have a tote bag? Are you branded? Does it say Mary Kay across your chest? And I know some of you guys like the sparkly stuff, and I get that. Just get Mary Kay across your boobs, okay? Right there. Everybody can see them, okay? I always love it when we don't have guests on here because you can really say what you want to. Okay, so that's number 2. So are you branded, okay? Okay, number 3, and your directors did not pay me to say this, but are you attending your weekly meeting virtually? Are you showing up always on time, never missing, never driving around in the car with an ice cream. Or have you all seen people on Zoom sometimes? You're like, what is she doing? How many of you are with me? Like, what's happening in that square? You know? I mean, I'm like, Jillian's probably laughing. I hear you, Jillian. Like, what's happening in that square? Okay. So you guys, seriously? Okay. Yeah. Always showing up to your weekly meeting. You guys, it doesn't matter. Always be there. Your director needs you. You need there. Okay. Next one. Do you currently already have your 600 in for the month? You know what? People are like, I'm going to seminar. I'll wait till next. No, it's every month. It's a year-long program. Every month, 600. And people are like, I haven't had the sales this week. People, figure this out. Charcoal masks. Sell 10 of them this week. Tomorrow you're having a 1-day sale, okay? Or a 2-day sale. Charcoal masks, 10 of them with a mask brush is over halfway there, okay? So what can you do? What can you sell? When's National Lipsticks Day? Somebody knows that. It's the 20... Nobody can come off the microphone because I'm muted except for Carla, Kelly, and Melanie. When's National Lipstick Day? Is it, somebody put in the chat section. I know somebody knows it. When is it? The 29th? Okay, so it's the 29th is National Lipstick Day. So many people, put your contests in. Some of my people are doing buy 2, get 1 free. But if you don't text out the catalog for them to see the colors, they won't know which 2 to buy to get 1 free. So what could you do with that? You guys, there's plenty of time to get your $600 order in. Don't miss a month. I don't care if you're at seminar. People don't know you're at seminar. You guys could be texting in the arena in the bathroom while you're waiting for people to do something. Okay. So you want to make sure that that's your goal every month. So that you have that done. Oh, and besides, if those of you guys have already gone, then you're doing that there. You're doing it when you get back. Those of you who have not left yet, you definitely want to do that before you go, because you want to be a star consultant all 4 quarters. Okay. And the last thing, they didn't pay me to say this either. Are you connected with your director? Does she know your goal? She is there to help you, guide you, and nudge you along the way, because we all need accountability. How many of you need accountability? Okay. I think accountability is super important. I think accountability is a great thing to have. And so definitely, I think accountability is great. So did y'all get those things? Branded samples, accountability, get all that stuff. Okay. Yes. Tomorrow night, I want to tell you before I introduce Jillian, I had sipped through all of her accolades because she's so good. You kill me later, Jillian. But one of the things I love about Jillian is work ethic. We'll talk about that. Okay. Tomorrow night, we have Tari. Tari is our speaker tomorrow night. We're giving away 7 free opportunities. Do people really not know anybody who hates their job and needs extra money? Who are you going to tell that you're in a contest and you only need 1 more to be on tomorrow night? Who? There's got to be somebody. There has to be somebody. Like, who is that person? Like, if you needed 1 more for your Cadillac, okay? Or let's say Jolie, Mary Kay was coming down from heaven and having lunch with anybody who got a recruit on Thursday night. You guys would have people on, you know? I don't know. You never know. Okay. Are you ready, Jillian? You're like, Janis, you make it crazy. All right. I don't know of one person who's ever come over from another country with $20 in their pocket. And what that tells me a lot about Jillian, and not only is she beautiful, but Jillian has a work ethic. Can you imagine leaving your parents, your mom, and your siblings behind with $20 in your pocket to be a nanny in a country? Unfamiliar territory, unfamiliar money, unfamiliar area. No social media, because we didn't have it back then. So she couldn't get on Zoom and talk to her siblings. So none of that was going to happen. So just think about the work ethic. And, you know, Jillian might glide like a swan on the, water. But she was, like Mary Kay used to say, the successful people look amazing like a swan across the water, but underneath us, what they're doing, they're paddling. They're going like this, super fast. Okay. So that is Jillian. And we're not here to do her whole story, but I will tell you, she's amazing. And I've always loved her work ethic. She became a director in 1990. I don't know what actually day you joined, Mary Kay. What page is that on?
1988.
1988, you came to Mary Kay.
November.
There she came. And you guys can put us side by side if you want, Carl. I don't know who's doing this, but thank you for that. Oh, look how pink you are. Laura, you didn't tell me there was a color for the night. Thank you for that.
That's for everybody's honor tonight.
Okay, thank you, Jillian. She debuted as a director in 1990. She's earned multiple cars, pink Cadillacs. She actually has what's that one that's in your driveway that I saw? It's the Barbie car.
XLR.
Yeah, the XLR. She has the XLR. So she has that too. She's earned over 30 carats of diamonds for her 10 fingers. Four times top 10 in her seminar. She's earned in excess of 4 million. Her highest check in 1 month was over almost 34,000. Over, well, I think she has 57-year history of Mary Kay Inc. from a global sales force of over 3.2 million women. She is international. She's spoken everywhere. She's trained. She's taught. I just said, Jillian, you've got to keep going. So I made her crazy a few years ago, and I just loved her training and what she stands for. I always say when Jillian and I are together, she's the nice one, I'm the mean one. Okay, I'm going to say this is what we do. Jillian's like, Jillian will put a cloud around you. She's going to make you feel like you just had 10 cookies and it's okay. So I'm going to turn this over to you, my beautiful friend, my smart, beautiful, gorgeous friend, Jillian Ortega. So take it away, girl.
You are so sweet. Don't y'all love Janice? This is kind of bright on here, right? But let's just make sure everybody's awake. Janice, I love you. Thank you so much for the invite to be on here. I'm going to try and throw out enough nuggets for you to anchor in any idea and goals that you have in your heart for the new year. And here's the best part of all of this is that Janice and I, we've had, well, Janice, you've had more seminars than me. I had 30 seminars where I had to reset goals. And Janice, you've had
41.
41. So I love the fact, don't y'all love the fact that Mary Kay makes us all consultants first, and then we climb the career path based on how many people's lives we change. That's basically what it is. So I'm very honored to be here with all of you today. A lot of you I know, I've kind of scrolled through the screens real fast to see who is on here, and so many of you are here. I wouldn't be able to call off all your names, but you know who you are. And those of you that are here tonight for the first time, what an honor it is to get to know you. It's exciting. A new year, a new year. How many of you are excited about it? I can see a few of you up on the screen. Let me see if I can get a grid. Can I get a grid up here? Let's see. Yep. Look at all those beautiful faces. Give yourself a hug. Oh my gosh. You guys, you're amazing. You've already invested in you tonight. You know, that's really important. And Janice talked about that. So let me kind of back you up a little bit into, what really motivated me. I'm going to kind of peel off all the layers of moving up the career path all the way to national and take you back to a consultant status, which was one of my favorite positions in Mary Kay. And I love to talk about becoming a consultant first because everything you do in Mary Kay will start at the consultant level. I like to look at it as you're building a house on a strong foundation. So when you build a house on a strong foundation, then you're going to have a beautiful home, right? So you don't want to build your business on quicksand. So tonight, what I want to do is give you some real practical ideas. Maybe it's something you've heard before. Maybe you'll hear it from me in a different way that might spark you. And just, it takes one spark to ignite a fire, you guys. Just one. How many of you have gone to seminar and you've been sparked? And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm a different person, right? So these moments are really pivotal in our Mary Kay career. So I applaud you for being here tonight. But I want to take you back to that moment. I was one of those career path women out in the workforce in the 1980s. That'll tell you how fascinating of an age I am. Because back in the 80s is when I was recruited into Mary Kay. I was probably one of those people that you would never imagine that would ever consider Mary Kay. Because on the outside, if you looked at me, my background is in systems operations. So I was a programmer and I programmed the IBM System 36s. So I had a really great job. So if you were on the outside as a consultant looking at me, then you would say, wow, there's no way she's interested. There's no way I can approach her. No way in the world would she ever consider Mary Kay. But see, what we don't understand is you don't know the story that's going inside of each person's heart or their story about their life that they want to change. So there are so many people out there right now that want to change, you guys. So many people have approached me. I went to my heart cardiologist the other day for my 6-month checkup, and they cannot believe my age. Now, I attribute that, of course, to Mary Kay. Now, I could have sold another couple of different Mary Kay sets of product based on that, right? But I want to take you to that moment where I was recruited. I was recruited in a restroom at a Christmas party. And I was recruited by somebody who overheard my conversation with my best friend. And I was trying to figure out how to stay at home and raise my son with my values and take care of my mother, who's handicapped and never really had a fabulous life. And so I was trying to figure out different ways to make more money and stay home and build my own business. So this beautiful consultant was in a restroom at a Christmas party, very happy consultant. Some of you here are happy. I'd say all of you are. You wouldn't be here, right? So she was just so happy. And she just came up to me. She said, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. I have the perfect job for you. And I'm like, well, okay. And most people would say, well, she's not going to listen to me. But see, when people, their why makes them cry, they will stop and listen. So I want you to be thinking about your why that makes you cry as I'm talking tonight and teaching you some of what I learned. What is that why that makes you cry? So the why that was making me cry was dropping off my son, watching him cry, picking him up, cried when I picked him up, the whole business. And my mother really, really needed more money for her health. She had 4 open heart surgeries and she needed income. So I had to figure out something. So I believe when you're dialed in to listen to other people, that God always shows up. He always shows up. So I want to challenge you when you're out to start listening to people and their conversation, because you'll never know when you could recruit the next national sales director in Mary Kay. And for me at that moment, it was just becoming a consultant. So she followed up with me. I did not sign up on the first time. She approached me 3 times, and my husband didn't want me to do it, but she was persistent enough to sign me up and come over when he was at work one night. So the short version of that story is I started my business. Now, here's what I want you to know. But let me go back to the why that makes you cry, first of all, because a lot of people would also have looked at me because my career path was a 60-hour work week. So I want you to think about this for a minute. It was 60 hours a week. I had a 3.5-year-old son, and my husband was undercover narcotics and vice on the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Do you think I had a little bit of stress in my life? A little, just a teeny bit, a little bit of stress going on. But this was the opening for me to change my world and my family's world. So what I had to determine is, how was I going to figure out how to work all that in? I'm going to touch on this again in a minute, but I gave up 6 months of weekends for a lifetime of weekends. So my first question for you tonight would be, what are you willing to give up to go up? Because the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing and expecting a different result. You know, Mary Kay isn't magical, it's mathematical. It's mathematical. I love to talk about mathematical terms because I was a programmer. So I love numbers and I love number crunching. I love all that stuff. But it's mathematical. It's just a system. So what I had to determine was, okay, am I willing to give up 6 months of weekends for a lifetime of weekends? And that was my goal, because that's the only way I could do the business. I could not do it during the week. My husband worked nights. Only time I could do it was on the weekends. I was on call all the time with my job for programming. And when the systems go down, I was the one who had to show up. So I couldn't do it a whole lot during the week. So what are you willing to give up to go up? So I want you to write that down. What am I willing to give up to go up? Because if you're not where you want to be yet, and yet being the operative word, you may not have been willing to give something up yet to go up. Does that make sense to everybody? So in order for you to move up the career path, you're going to want to do something different this year. Now, I want to give you some passion about selling the product, because I did not, and this is going to probably blow some of your minds. I did not have one recruit in the company on my team for a year and 3 months of me being in the company. Now, I'm not saying to you, do that. Back in those days, you heard what Janice said. We didn't have Zoom. We didn't have cell phones. We only had beepers. And the only thing you got on a beeper for me from work was 911. That meant that I needed to show up. So we didn't have the luxury of being on telephones and Zooms and even personal computers like this. We didn't have them. There was mainframes. That was it. There wasn't a whole lot of personal computers. And if there were some of them out there, they were extremely expensive. So what are you willing to give up to go up? I gave up 6 months of weekends for a lifetime of weekends. So what do I mean by that? I gave up Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon after church. Those were my three time slots that were non-negotiable in order for me to make this business work. That was my non-negotiable. Now, I didn't know how to recruit, but I knew how to read the consultant's guide. How many of you were around when the consultant guide was out and it was a great big thick book and all of the scripts were highlighted in blue? Do you remember that? Janice is nodding her head. Yes, yes, right? That's what we had. But we had each other too. You know, whoever brought you into the company, she was a big help. My director was 4.5 hours away, so I didn't get to see her very often. But the recruiter who brought me into the company, she helped me get started. And then after she got me started, she quit. Can you believe that? After she got me going, she left. And when I became a national sales director, she came to my debut. She says, that was the biggest mistake I ever made in my entire life. So you never, ever, 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 ever want to give up. If you've got team members, don't ever give up. And even if you don't have team members, do not give up. So the why that makes you cry, giving up the 6 months of weekends for the lifetime of weekends. My goal was, and Mary Kay actually set this goal. This wasn't me. This was in the consultant's guide. 3 skincare classes a week. Janice, you probably remember that too. 3 skincare classes a week would take you to the top. She preached that over and over and over again at career conference and seminar. And I really understood that because when you saw enough faces, faces are going to take you places. And it is a mathematical equation in Mary Kay, and it still is the same today. It has not changed. Now, there are different ways of doing faces today. You can do them on Zoom. You can do them virtual. You can give out samples, like Janice said. I never went anywhere without samples. And back in those days, Janice would tell you this, we didn't have samples like you all do. We just had those little strips, and you had to make up your own color cards. Do y'all remember that? I mean, we just did it all. But my goal was those 3 skincare classes. And those 3 skincare classes, Mary Kay said, focus on having 6 people, 6 people at each one. So I was a numbers girl. So I said, okay, that's what I'll do. 6 people, 6 people. So each appointment, that was my goal, to have 6, 6, and 6. So I was seeing 18 people on the weekends. That's 72 people a month. 72 people a month. That's a double power start. And then some, right? So my journey wasn't anything more than mathematical. And of course, learning the skill set, learning what to do, making sure everything was perfect, taking care of the customer, connecting with my director. In case you've ever practiced creative avoidance, I did that too for a minute, but not for very long because I realized that she was my power partner and she was the one that was going to help me solidify all the pieces that I was trying to figure out. And it's just like programming, you guys. You know, when you program a computer, one of our favorite terms as programmers is GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Whatever goes in is what comes out. The same with you and how you're programming yourself, even right now as I'm speaking. If you're thinking, oh, there's no way I'll ever see 18 people, well, you're absolutely right. You won't, if that's how you're going to believe. But if it's been proven by Mary Kay herself and passed down all these generations, and aren't we so blessed that this company is so powerful, right? I wouldn't come out of retirement and do what I'm doing and help people if I didn't believe this company was phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And it's gotten better and better and better. It's just easier today than it was back in those days because we had to drive 4.5 hours to see some people that we wanted to have in our customer base. So I wanted to give you that kind of framework first because a lot of people look at us as nationals and think, oh, she has something special. No, we don't. We don't have anything special. It's just the numbers. It's the numbers of people. Does that help you guys? I hope that gives you confidence in knowing that we don't have anything more special than you. And you all have your own story. And your story is going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. So if you focus on the faces, you'll go places for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. So what I'd say to you next would be goal setting. Janice touched on this. Goal setting is so important. I don't know if you've ever heard of Earl Nightingale, but he wrote some great books way back in the day, back in the 70s, 60s, 70s. And he wrote the book, The Stranger's Secret. And in the book, now it's not The Secret. Y'all remember that video? that came out years ago. It's not that. It's The Strangest Secret. And in the first chapter, he talks about the strangest secret as far as why are some people successful and some people not. Well, here is a phenom for you tonight. In high school, do y'all remember when you were graduating from high school? Y'all had dreams, goals, ambitions. So he did a survey with 100 high school students, and they all had dreams. They all had big ambition. They all wanted to do something great in the world. So fast forward to years down the road when they were in their 40s, 50s, and then they went back to interview those same people. And out of the 100%, only 3% achieved their goals and their dreams. And you know why? 97% didn't write the goal down, didn't fine tune the goal, and didn't have it plastered all over the place. They didn't have it in front of them. Without the vision, the people perish. So if I walked into your office right now, whether you're a consultant or director, would I see up your major goal? Major goals for the month, even not just the year, but you got to break it down because if you don't, you'll become overwhelmed. You know, it's like eating a steak. You know, Kansas City is known for great steaks. Dallas is too. But you can't eat a whole steak in one bite. You take it one bite at a time, right? So you got to break it down. So break it down into manageable things for you. For me, it was my focus. My main focus was always 3 skincare classes on the weekend. That was it. And I could focus on that and I could make that happen. So the goal clearly defined is the goal clearly achieved. And you know, the one thing I loved about Mary Kay, I remember my first seminar and she shared about this woman who was a consultant in Hawaii. And this consultant, what she did was she took a skincare set. Now, back in those days, those of you that have been around my era in the 80s, back in those days, the skincare set, the basic skincare was $49. And today you've got all kinds of different sets that you can use. But she said, here's an idea. And she shared this with us, and I thought it was brilliant, and I never forgot it, is put a skincare set by your door, by the door of your house, the door, like the front door, right? Not the back door, the front. Put it by the front door. And make it your goal to sell one a day. Now, how much would that be if you had just one a day that you sold? If you had $100 days, you'd have $3,000 months. You'd have an order of $1,500. What's that times 12? See, I told you I'm a numbers person. I'm kind of geeky about numbers. But when that's there, then you visualize it moving out of your house. And so that was a really good focus for me for making sure that I was selling a skincare set a day. And of course, for me, it was on the weekends. So the goals. Now, so that's one. Number one, you figure out your goal first. What do you want? You want to be in the National Court of Sales. That was my first achievement in Mary Kay, winning that diamond ring on stage my first year. That was my focus. I didn't recruit anybody because I didn't know how. At least that was my excuse. I think really, for me personally, I was excited that I was able to make great money, stay home, raise my son, and send money to my mom. And then my mom needed more money. And then I needed to figure out what to do on top of the money that I was making. Because you'll make 50% on your sales, but when you're building your team, then you can also make an extra 13% on that. Then a dovetail, you can make that 15%. But then when you become a director, you make another 23%. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And you get a bonus from the company and you get a car from the company. So it didn't take me too long to figure out, okay, that's where I needed to shift next. But for now, what is that number one goal that you want for you and your family? I would take it a step further. One thing that I did with Vince was I asked him, I said, well, what would you like from Mary Kay? And Rena Tarbett is the one who told me to do this. And I know we have some Tarbett tigers on here. Rena was so amazing. And she said, have you thought about asking your husband what he wants? And I said, no. I said, why? I said, he's just happy I'm making money. She says, no. She says, I want you to go home and ask him what he wants. And he wanted a 21-foot ski boat. That changed the trajectory for me of amping up the business and recruiting. Because when I decided then to recruit, that first month I was a team leader, then I was a DIQ, then I became a director and then a top director, and the rest is history. But that all happened because I had a base also of customers. Because that first year, with all the shakeout, now you're not going to keep every customer as a basic skincare customer or an elite customer, whatever you are choosing to call them today. But out of the customer base, I had 400 great basic skincare customers. So out of that 400, it was easy for me to have a team of 12 to earn a career car. Does that make sense to everybody? So this is the natural progression of Mary Kay. From selling the product, you get to share the opportunity, and then the more people that you're talking to, the more you're going to have on your team. And so that was very exciting. So the goal setting for me was because I asked Vince what he wanted. He wanted the 21-foot ski boat. My son, he was only 4 at that point, so we made him a goal poster with different pictures of different things that he wants. And we're getting ready to do this with my grandson this weekend. He's 4, and so now he's at that age where I'm going to help him set up a goal poster so that every time that I'm on a Zoom or I'm doing a coaching call or I'm training somebody, he gets X amount of money when he's here so that he plays with his toy and he's good. And after that hour, then he gets that dollar. Or when you go to a skincare class, you give him $1. Now, today, you probably need to give him $5 with the rate of inflation and everything that's gone on. So, might be $5 today, but we put the envelope on the top of the goal poster. And every time I was gone to an event, then he'd get $1. Now, when I got on an airplane, he got $5. But remember, that was back in 1988, 89, 90, that period of time. So when you ask your husband what does he want, then it becomes very exciting because if you ever go griping or complaining to him, not that any of you do, but I did a few times to my husband, and then he would say to me, he would go, well, honey, that's okay. I'll take you to the movies. I'll take you out to eat. Are you okay? What else can I do for you? And he was enabling me instead of saying, come on, girl. Now, when he had his goal, and we got him his own goal poster, put it in front of his recliner with his boat, found out what the down payment was for it, and found out what the payments were for it. Then, when I would kind of weenie whine, or if somebody had said no and I got my feelings hurt or whatever, he'd say, now let's go practice the flip chart. And that's what we would do. Got it? So you won't have anybody in your household that's going to say to you, are you doing that Mary Kay again? How many of you have ever had that happen? Come on, be honest. I know you have, right? But when they're all on the same page with you, they're going to carry out the starter kit. They're going to carry out your bags. They're going to make sure you have everything you need. They're going to unload the dishwasher, do the dishes, do all the stuff that you don't want to do so that you could be out there and free to make money. So that's goal setting. Then time management. Let's talk about that a little bit. I share with you, I'm going to come back to that. Time management. I know we've got all these fancy schmancy things now on our iPhone and on our computers, and they're digital. It's like the digital era on steroids anymore because now if you're going to do your time management solely for you on your computer, your family can't see it. So I'm just going to take you back to what Rena Tarbett taught me. I'm still doing it today. It's still in my pantry in my kitchen today. And that's the 90-day planner. And that's then color coding that with Mary Kay's training. And Mary Kay said, color code your calendar. She believed in faith first, then family, then career. So faith went on the calendar first. So Sundays were outlined, of course, faith always had my faith. So whatever your faith is, make sure you pick a color for that. She said to pick yellow. So you outline the actual day, Sunday. And if you have Wednesday night at church, then outline that. And then family, pick orange or a happy color for them. And then your career. So for me, my other career, I outlined in black. And then my Mary Kay had 3 different colors. It had pink, Mary Kay events like this, training. Then it had green, which was money, skincare classes, and red, recruiting, meaning I was building my team. So I taught my family the Mary Kay color-coded system because then that tied into their goals. Because if they didn't see any green on the calendar, they weren't getting their goal. You see what I'm saying? If there was no green, no faces, no classes, no online sales, no whatever, then there wasn't any money coming in. Same with recruiting. So they were always encouraging then instead of, oh my gosh, you're going again. This is so stressful. You work so hard programming already. Maybe you should maybe think about hanging it up. That never happened then because they already understood this is just like going to work and making a plan that's going to be viable for our family for the rest of our lives. Now, think about this. Some of you here work for somebody else. Are they ever going to pay you what you're worth? They're never going to pay you what you're worth, you guys. Never going to pay you what you're worth. Even women today, they're still only getting paid 82 cents to every man's dollar. We're still underpaid out in the workforce today. And I imagine a lot of you are underpaid. So aren't you excited that you got your Mary Kay? You can build your business up and then let that take over while you're working that corporate job. By the way, I did leave my corporate job 6 months to the day after I set the goal and the time management with my family to the date. And I've never looked back, never gone back to programming, never gone back to that career ever. And that's since that was 1989 because there would be 6 months out. So that was in May of the following year. I was a full-time Mary Kay consultant. Exciting, right? So breathe that in for a second. Some of you are still trying to figure that piece out. So I'm hoping that this is kind of like give you a roadmap for it. Because if you don't have a roadmap for it, and trust me, if you don't show up to work for your other corporate job, they're not going to pay you either. Is that true? They're not going to pay you. So would you hire you or would you fire you based on your effort? Now, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. What matters is today. Today is the new day, right? That's why Janice put this together. So it doesn't matter. Don't go back into regret. Look at what's going to happen that could be magnificent for you this year. Then the next thing, I've got two more to share with you. Affirmation and attitude. Do you have an affirmation? Do you have an affirmation that gets you excited? Heidi, I see that you do. Heidi's nodding her head. She's got one. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So Heidi, that's important because you need to say that in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, put it in your car, paste it on the steering wheel of your car. I had it right in the middle of my steering wheel of my car, put it on the refrigerator, put it on your vanity mirror. Wherever it is that you are, that needs to be. Because if it's not, then you're going to go into what I call creative avoidance. How many of you have ever done that? Creative avoidance. So the affirmation is key. Your directors will have so many to give you guys. I wish I had more time. I'd give you more. Hey, Lily, I see you. Congratulations, girl. So I just want you to know that that's really important for you guys because you will have some funky days or fascinating days. I like to call them fascinating. So when somebody says to you, oh gosh, well, that's just too bad, say, no, it's just fascinating. Everything is fascinating. Right? Nothing's awful. It's just fascinating. The world we live in today is definitely fascinating. So aren't you glad you have the Mary Kay culture and the Mary Kay women around you that are loving on you? I mean, there's nothing better. It's like a warm blanket. So affirmation, get a good affirmation. Ask your director to give you a couple of different ideas on affirmations for you. Because it'll be based specific to what your need is and what it is that you want to have happen. Like I'll give you, for instance, okay, I'll give you my old one from way back when. I'm going to have to say it fast because I'm going to run out of time, but I can type it up and give it to Janice if you want it. But mine was very simple and it was very specific. And it was this: I am enjoying holding at least 3 skincare classes a week with at least $1,000 in sales. I'm using the 4-point recruiting plan at each skincare class, resulting in 3 brand new business associates per month and earning the use of my Fire Engine Red Pontiac Grand Am. Do y'all remember the Fire Engine Red Pontiac Grand Am? Yeah, that was it. That was my affirmation. I recorded it on a loop on a cassette tape. Do y'all remember cassette tapes? And I looped it over and over, and I went to sleep listening to it because your subconscious mind will never go to sleep. It just never sleeps. Some of you probably wonder, well, maybe that's why I can't sleep at night. I don't know if anybody here in my age group has issues with that sleeping. But when you have a clear affirmation, you'll sleep better. You'll sleep like a baby because you won't be worried about anything because you're programming your brain to give you output of what it is you want to have happen. It's just like programming a computer. The same thing, except you have the most intricate, fascinating computer right up here. I promise you that. But remember, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you go to bed negative, depressed, not feeling good, like nothing happened this week, or oh my gosh, I had a 0 on my weekly accomplishment sheet, then that's all you're going to think about, and you probably aren't sleeping very well. It's just a thought. I'm throwing that out there. You don't need Ambien. You just need an affirmation. I hope some of you are laughing. But give it a whirl. Dare yourself to scare yourself. Mary Kay used to tell us that too all the time. So, affirmation, attitude, 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 attitude. I want to talk about attitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. How many of you figured that out? You know, sometimes our attitude is kind of like bad breath, and, you know, everybody knows it but us. Just a thought. Just a thought. Your attitude determines your altitude. When you have a powerful dream and goal coupled with the right attitude, you can soar above any obstacle. And an obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. So if your attitude isn't straight, then you're not listening to enough powerful things in the morning. How many of you watch any powerful YouTubes in the morning? Powerful affirmation, powerful YouTubes. YouTube has great affirmations too, by the way, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. You can't have one without the other. You got to have the right attitude in order to soar to the right altitude in this company. So I want to share with you a couple of thoughts I have. A dream without a positive attitude produces a daydreamer. How many of you like to daydream? Anybody? Daydream about what could be and all that, which is not a bad thing, but you don't want to daydream all the time, every day. A positive attitude without a dream produces a pleasant person who can't progress. But a dream, together with a positive attitude, produces a person with unlimited possibilities and potential. So let me say that one more time, the last one. A dream together with a positive attitude, this is why it's important, produces a person with unlimited possibilities and potential. And that's going to be all of you here, right? Psychologist, philosopher William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that people can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. And that is so true. So the choices you've made up until now have come as a result of your attitude. Ooh, everybody got like really serious. Some of you are smiling. Some of you are like, oh no. Mary Kay was really clear on this on stage. She says, your attitude will determine your altitude. So your attitude determines your actions, and your actions determine your accomplishments. So when you see people on stage at seminar receiving their gifts and receiving all kinds of awards, you never see them walking across stage not smiling, right? They're always smiling. They're always happy. Why? Because they've got a positive attitude, and that's why they are where they are today. Your attitude will determine your actions, and your actions determine your accomplishments. So even what I've just shared with you earlier here on goal setting and time management, if after we hang up and you go like, bah, well, you know, tried that before, well, have you done it that way? Is there something that maybe you could just tweak? Sometimes it's just that little tweak that will shift you. So your attitude is important. And the other part of that is avoiding negative people. And I don't know if any of you have been around some negative people lately, but I imagine you have, because we live in a pretty negative society right now. And thank God for Mary Kay, you guys, that you can shift people everywhere you go. That's just such a blessing for me. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go. And some of you know my heart health history. Some of you don't know the surgeries I've had. But, you know, following up even with the cardiologist the other day, he said to me, he says, I cannot believe that you're going to be 64. I cannot believe that you always have a smile on your face, because he said people don't come in here smiling. People don't come in here with a good attitude. They come in here wanting me to pump them up. But I go in there to pump them up. So we are the ones that can be the change agents. So avoiding negative people. Let me share with you a couple of facts on that. And I used to say when I was an active national, run away from them screaming if you can. But that's not always accessible to you, especially if it's somebody in your sphere of influence. You can't always necessarily get away from that. But you can in your mind say, wow. And I want you to write that down. I think Lily, you know this. Wow. With or without you, I'm going to make it happen. With or without you, I'm going to make it happen. That's what wow means. Wow. Even if somebody says to you, well, no, I don't want a facial, you go, wow, everyone's getting a free facial. I just didn't want you to miss out. Or if somebody says no to hearing the opportunity, wow, everyone's hearing about it right now because everybody needs extra money. But the price of groceries, everybody is looking at other opportunities. That could be your grocery money for the week. And isn't that the truth, you guys? When I go shopping with my grandson, I'm like, oh my word, if I was an active national today, I'd be recruiting all over the grocery store. I just would. See, be observant. Watch people because people pick things up and they put them back. They pick them up and they put them back because they can't afford them. So there are people out there. So that's just a thought I wanted to throw out there for you. So when you're locked into your passion, you're locked into your purpose, and you're locked into your dream, then that is a formula for your success. And have that picture in your mind. Remember that nobody can upset you, make you mad, or hurt your feelings without your permission. So if you tend to be around negative people, nobody can upset you, make you mad, or hurt your feelings without your permission. So when you give them permission, you give them your power. Then how's that going to make you feel? Right? You're all thinking, I can see it. Betty, I can see it on your face. She's thinking. But nobody can take it away unless you give it to them. So it's important that you have a circle of influence around you. And this is why I love what Janis does. This is a circle of influence that you can come together once, twice, 3 times a week. But here's kind of a fun little exercise for you, for those of you that like to write things down. When you have some time, maybe tonight before you go to bed, write down a list of people that you hang with or that you're around a lot. Put a plus by the people who make you feel great, an equal sign by the people who, they don't make you feel bad or happy, and a negative by the ones that make you feel awful. And see who you're hanging with, because if you're hanging out with all the negative people, that could be stunting your success story as far as you climbing to your Amer-I-Can dream. A lot of you have heard me speak about the Amer-I-Can dream. There's no T on the end of it. It's the last 4 letters of American are I can. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world right now. We can shift this world. So do that. I think you'll find that interesting because not everybody will want to celebrate your success. Be careful who you share your goals with. Be careful who you're sharing your goals with, you guys. How many of you are sharing them with some people who do not deserve to hear what your goals are? Sometimes you got to be uber careful because some people go, oh, are you sure? You're just too busy. I'm not so sure that that's probably a good idea for you, So, and just recapping for you guys before I give you my final close, because I love sharing stories. Mary Kay was a great storyteller. She taught us a lot to tell and share stories. So make sure that you have the why that makes you cry. Why that makes you cry, goal setting, time management, affirmation, check the attitude on who you're hanging with, and that will get you out of the gate. And share your goal with your director, okay? So the one thing that your director can't do for you though is they can't be responsible for your living, your dreams. That's not their job. You're responsible to share with them, and then they'll partner with you. So I want to share with you this story about firelighters or firefighters. Are you ready for a fun little bedtime story? So firefighters, they're the people that want to put out the fire that you have for your dream. No matter what you are, they are against it. Whatever you want, they're against it. The way these kind of people criticize everything, you would think they got paid for it. And nothing you can do or say will change their attitude. You have those people in mind? Now, how about the firelighters? These are the people who want to help you and are willing to do whatever they can to stoke the flames of your your success even higher. That's Janice, that's your directors, that's the Zooms here. This is all your sister consultants and leaders that are here. So remember though, as you're going after your dreams, sometimes you'll be surprised by which people will want to light your fire and which people want to put out the fire you have for your dreams. So let me share this with you. It's an illustration about a Canadian bird. Have you heard about this Canadian bird? Anybody? It's pretty cute. Okay, let me share with you about the Canadian bird. He decided that it was too much trouble to fly south for the winter. So he said to himself, I can brave the winter all by myself. All kinds of other animals do it. It just can't be that hard. So as all the other birds flocked away towards sunny South America, he stayed behind and waited for winter. By the end of November, especially if you live in Kansas City, he was having serious second thoughts. He had never been so cold all of his life, and he couldn't find any food. Finally, he broke down and he realized that if he didn't get out of there soon, he was not going to make it. So he started flying south all by himself. And after a while, it began to rain. And before he knew it, the water was turning to ice on his wings. Struggling, he recognized that he could not fly any longer. He knew that he was about to die, so he glided down and made his last landing, crashing to the ground in a barnyard. I want you to imagine Kansas City area. We have lots of barns, lots of farms, lots of all that in the Midwest. So as he lay there stunned, a cow came by, stepped over him, and dropped a plop right on him. He was totally disgusted. Here I am, he thought, freezing to death. I'm about to die. I'm on my last breath, and now what an awful way to go. So the bird held his breath. So can you visualize him? He held his breath and prepared himself to die. But after about 2 minutes, he discovered that a miracle was happening. He was warming up. The ice on his wings was melting. His muscles were thawing out. His blood was flowing again. And he realized that he was going to make it after all. He got so excited and happy, he started to sing a glorious song. At that moment, the farm's old tomcat was laying in the hayloft in the barn, and he heard the bird singing. And he couldn't believe it. He hadn't heard anything like that for months. And he said to himself, is that a bird? I thought they'd all gone south for the winter. He came out of the barn, and lo and behold, there was the bird. The cat crossed over to him where he was, pulled him gently out of the cow plop, cleaned him off, and ate him. What's the moral to the story? There are three. Number one, not everyone who drops a plop on you is your enemy. Number two, not everyone who takes a plop off of you is your friend. Number three, if someone does drop a plop on you, if somebody does take a plop off of you, keep your mouth shut. Anybody get the analogy? The same can be true as you realize your dream. Some people you consider your friends will fight your success. Others will support you in ways you never expected. But no matter which people criticize you or how they do it, do not let them take your focus off of your dream. Remember, run away from them screaming. And the word of the day for you is wow from me. Okay. So I'm so excited for you guys. I know a lot of you are heading off to seminar. I won't be with you this year at seminar, but I know you're going to have an amazing time. Dream big, you guys, because you can. And remember, the last four letters of American are I-C-A-N. I can, right? So back to you, Janice.
We can open up. Jillian, I told you she's the nice one. She gave you a word, wow, and I gave you a word called discipline. So I don't know. You pick your word, okay? Discipline and wow for the night. So yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh. Jillian, you are amazing. Thank you for that. I told you she's the most brilliant retired national. Well, actually, she's the most brilliant national. We're such a good team together. And Jillian always is. Jillian will put a blanket around you, and you'll feel really comforted. I'll take it off and say, "Now let's go to work." And so we're we're so good together, Jillian. I so appreciate you. Oh my gosh! So thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend.
You're
and I
welcome.
hope that you guys will work hard. All of you will work hard to become directors so that you can be at my retirement party in Nashville.
Yes, because I'll be there.
January. We'll be there in
Mhm.
January. You have plenty of time. You're like, I have one breathing comatose new team member. I understand, but that can change when you have a lot of wow and discipline, right? Right, Jillian? You know, Mary Kay has so many stories, like a million stories, and we could be on here all night for stories, but we're not going to be because we're actually over time by a minute, but that's okay. All right. So tonight, thank you all for doing this. And we do have a packed month of August. We are not done yet this month. So whether you're at seminar or going to seminar, please make sure you finish your goals this month. And would you do me a favor, all of you, ask your director, they always love when I do this, ask your director, what is our unit's goal this month? What are we trying to get to? Prod your director and ask her. Because what she might be a little behind because it's July. In July, we take a little bit of a dip, right, Jillian? So thank you for that. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Tonight, what we're going to do tonight in just a second, who is doing the drawings tonight? Is it you? I don't know who's, I know Kelly, you text me this and I appreciate you all the time. I'm like, what? Is it Carla? Are you pulling the names? I'm not really sure who is doing the drawing tonight, but we're going to give away 4 Kate Spade items. And then I'm going to send you 2 of my books. JillianOrtega.com. Jillian has stuff on her website. Is it JillianOrtega.com, Jillian?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go on to JillianOrtega.com. You can see all of her things there. I have books on mine, so you can definitely do that too. So I know many of you have our books, many of Jillian's stuff also too. So, you know, get us in your ear, if nothing else, out there too. All right, so Carla, is it you and I? I don't know who it is. Is it you and I?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Carla is going to put out 4 Kate Spade winners and then 2 books. So Carla, who, and by the way, there they are, Lisa Patton, Jerry DeGus, Ann Navarez, and Kathy Dorco. Those are, you guys are all the winners of Kate Spade. You'll get something in the mail this next week. And I have 2 books to give out, Carla, who are our book winners tonight. We'll do that and I'll put those in the mail tonight too. Okay. So let's see.
Hold on. Let me repost them. They went fast.
Okay. I'm like, what happened? And by the way, please make sure you guys send me your address. Okay. Your director sends me the address. It's great. Tomorrow night, we have 7 free e-starts to do. I'm going to take this recording off here. This recording